What's up, people? I am streaming on YouTube and Twitch, hopefully. I've had some weird Twitch issues this morning, or this afternoon. Probably related to the AWS outages, I'm assuming, but nonetheless, I am attempting to stream on both YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, my name's Randy Bishop. This is A Creative World. We are working on Pac-Man. This is the second video of this series, the astraeasmp. And it is Pac-Man. Yeah, it's based on Pac-Man. So this is the center. This is where the ghosts, which are actually zombified piglins, drop. This is where players drop, and essentially they run around collecting. Right now it's iron nuggets. It probably will remain iron nuggets if I'm honest, because iron nuggets are the easiest to craft for me right now, because I have an iron farm and I have just so much iron that, you know, nuggets, when you pick one up, will automatically enable a beacon, which has regen, resistance, whatever. Yeah, so you get a bunch of power-ups, and then you can take on the piglins if you choose to. It's not as easy as Pac-Man, though. If you just, you know, you can't eat the piglins in one hit, so to speak. You can't kill them in one hit. You will have to evade them, dodge them, and what have you. But yeah, this is how far I've gotten. Last stream we didn't have this covered at all, so for those, hey Sam, how you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. Hopefully everything is working, because like I said right at the top, to nobody, because I don't think anyone's watching yet, I've had some issues with OBS connecting to Twitch, so I think I'm streaming, but it looks like you're on YouTube, so YouTube is where it's at, and that seems fine, so we're good there. If it's not streaming to Twitch, it's not streaming to Twitch, no big deal. Nonetheless, long story short, Pac-Man in Minecraft, that's what I'm working on. Last stream, I just kind of laid out this course, and I replaced all the grates with glass, but rethought out the whole thing about the grates again, and I actually took, in my mind, I took a little bit of the advice of Birdie, who's a fellow Astraea player, that said, you know, it's a skill issue if you can't avoid, which, to be honest, after playing quite a few rounds, just kind of testing the game, I do think the obfuscation of the grates provide a little bit more of a challenge. The piglins are more likely to surprise you. Not entirely, you know, you can still see them from, again, like I'm across the board, that lit area right there is across the board, but you can still see them, but it makes it just a little bit more difficult, which I think contributes to the frantic nature of the game. So I think it's good. Yeah, I think AWS outages are affecting Twitch's authentication services, because I'm getting this weird error essentially saying that Sam, that was in Sam, in chat. So essentially I'm getting this weird error that's saying that my OBS version is incorrect, which I Googled really quick, and everybody on Reddit is saying, well, that's if your time is out of sync. So I made sure my time was in sync on my Windows device, and I'm still getting the error. So I have a feeling it has to do with the authentication server, which would make sense, because I have multi-factor authentication enabled on my Twitch account. So I think something's going awry. And we're having problems with like a ton of things at work. Jira, our task management system, and our credit card vendor, all kinds of stuff is going awry. So I have a feeling that's what it is. And obviously Twitch is owned by Amazon, so it would make a lot of sense. Hey Mojo, thank you for joining the stream. So I can't see Twitch chat through the regular means right now in OBS. Instead I'm using Caster Labs to see multi-chat. So I'll see everybody's messages, hopefully, but if I miss something, it's gonna be Twitch. And last time I actually did have like 8 people watching on Twitch, which is the most I've ever had, in comparison to YouTube, which I have usually, you know, 15 to 20 or so. Nonetheless, long story short, Twitch may work intermittently, may not work exactly perfectly because of the AWS outages. Okay, so everybody on stream, Pac-Man in Minecraft. I kind of covered it. Okay, this, long story short, the reason I covered it as is right now, you know, like this blacked out kind of look, is because I want to play with light. So in the first stream, I went over the fact that in Pac-Man, it's obviously a top-down view. in a top-down view, you can see where all the pellets are and all your power-ups. You can see where the ghosts are. You know, it's like you have a full view of the board. In Minecraft, however, you know, you have a first-person, you know, 3D view, so you can't see everything. So I'm thinking the light will play a particular advantage to the player by seeing where the drops are placed. So I am going with drops. I'm not doing any sort of buttons or anything like that. And I did the pressure plates, Mojo. Thanks for that suggestion. However, I'm not using them to calculate any sort of point conversion. I'm still, but the reason I like the mechanic of having to run and then drop everything into a hopper is because it adds to the challenge of running around and evading piglins. Because to be frank, ghosts in Pac-Man are programmed far more intelligently than piglins in Minecraft. The piglins will get like confused and stuck in a corner, or they'll bunch together so it's really easy to evade them because they're all in one, you know, tight group. The ghosts in Pac-Man, if you've ever played Pac-Man, which I'm assuming most people have, they're all programmed with slightly different identities, so to speak. So some of them, one of them wanders a little bit more. One of them is like locked onto you like a laser, you know, so each of the 4 ghosts have a slightly different personality, making it extremely challenging to evade them because you're not evading like a single AI kind of, you know, quality, so to speak. All the zombified piglins, however, they're all exactly the same. So long story short, I'm going to the dropper thing, you know, the hopper. You have to run over here and drop all your items into a hopper, which you could do multiple times. You don't have to do it just one time, obviously, because this is a corner right here. Like you can get this little alleyway. You can get cornered here. A piglin comes by, and if you don't have a power up, you are SOL. Like this could spell doom for you. So I think that challenge makes the game of evasion a little bit more challenging. Because right now, if you just had the game automatically count the points, it's pretty easy to evade all these piglins, even when they're angered, even when they're like, you know, they got their swords out and they're ready to kick your butt. So that's it. That's the long story short. Those are the mechanics that I'm going for. Okay, catching up on chat here. My school uses Canvas, which runs on AWS. That's been down all day. Yeah, my wife was complaining about that. Odds are Twitch has the same. Yeah, Twitch is working. It's just the authentication server. So for some reason in OBS, like usually, I don't know if anyone uses built-in as soon as you authenticate your account, like your chat and stats and stuff like that for Twitch. When I opened up OBS about an hour ago, all those docs were gone. And I'm like, what the heck? So I disconnected my account and then reconnected it, and that your time is out of sync. It'll convince that you have the incorrect version or whatever. I ensured my time was in sync, everything's fine, so it's got to be the AWS outages. Petition to name the game Pigman. Okay. That's good. I like it. Like, I was trying to think of a good play on Pac-Man. Sam, you always have really good name ideas. I want you to know I was drawing diagrams in my phone like a crazy person trying to figure out how to, or is it just my internet? Great. That's on the YouTube side. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can adjust this on the fly. All right, hopefully that will correct any sort of stutters, drop frames and stuff like that. So great. Okay, you guys are both getting it. All right, you guys are on YouTube. This is the thing I was debating on whether I was going to change my stream settings to just YouTube. All right, it seems to be stabilizing right now. If it doesn't, I might just cut the Twitch stream. Okay, let's get to it though. Let's get to it. So I covered it all up, but as you guys can see, I did a little bit of off-camera work. I've been working on it like every day, just a little bit here and there. And this weekend I actually spent linked together, and there's a little bit of a sync issue with like, start the game, you die, you end up resetting the game, you know, all those kind of like order of events, that hierarchy of events. That stuff is still a little fuzzy, but for the most part, everything is sitting on top of a calibrated skulk sensor with a setting of page 7, which is basically any mob takes damage, he will activate the skulk sensor. The calibrated skulk sensor has wool below it, so all the piglins down here will not count toward that damage counter. But this is basically the start of the game. This is how you start the game. You smack this guy and then jump down the hill. Two events together where you'll kind of be shoved down this hole. So right now, the distance between this guy and the hole are just a little bit too far. If I hit right here is actually perfect reach, so if somehow I can squeeze everything in by one block, then I'll be good to go, but that's harder than it sounds. Okay, so you smack him, you drop down the hole. Well, the first step is to set your spawn. We'll only unblock. You'll spawn one block to the left, or basically the pillow to the left of the pillow of the front of the bed. So when you step on that, that actually triggers a reset, which you'll see in a second. It closes in reset mode right now. Like wander, fall down these trap doors into some wither roses and perish. This I kind of have like a T flip flop, you know, using a waxed copper bulb. Jeez, I cannot think of words right now. I'm using a waxed copper bulb as a T flip flop on both sides. So I have two exits, two ways for the piglins to evacuate in, I'd say, a minute. So there's nothing I can do to make in between the games shorter than a minute, because I have to have these guys exit, because I have to start with 4 fresh piglin, zombified piglin before the start of a game, or it's just going to be unfair to players because some of the piglins might be damaged or what have you. Also, the reset kicks all, or actually just 2 hopper mine carts. They will circle around these rails. Originally I had these rails going this way, so west to east. Now I have them going north to south. No, it's very important because of these pickups, which I'll get to in a second. Those are like the power-up pellet, kind of, all the yellow line is power-up pellet stuff. So I also had it on every other block. I had to put it on every block though, because if a zombified piglin dies or the player dies and their drops land in between, and let me put on gamma really quick, land in between the power-ups, the drops rather, you know, the pickups rather, the pellets, whatever you want to call them, then they would just be left behind, and then another player starts the game, and it would be, again, unfair because that player could pick up the things, and, you know, they could have an unfair advantage. Okay, so both those minecarts will go off, and the actual game resets when one of the minecarts, the one that goes on the shorter, one line shorter trip, actually resets the game to be playable again. So these guys start, this trips, the purple line is the reset line, goes up here, over here, and then activates that piston to pull down this block so you can smack the piglin again. So let me just go through it really quick, just kind of show you what happens. So come over here, I set my spawn. Obviously I can't touch this, cannot activate it, which is great. That's exactly what I want. I come over here, I smack this piglin. So I'm gonna have to have harming potions, constantly healing this guy because he can take only so many smacks. You can see his HP in the top left there is 18.1 out of 20. So I'm gonna definitely have to think about healing this guy. So you smack him, this closes. You heard all the droppers go off, that's the items dropping. I'm down, I didn't reset the piglins. So 4 piglins will drop through that right there. Because as you can see, it's very lit up now because all of these items, if you listen, so the air have, so, you know, I have speed, resistance, regeneration, and strength too. So that's how I'm timing the minute. So each power-up cycle will be a minute long. Again, the reason I'm choosing golden axes is because you can only get about 8 hits out of a golden axe before it breaks, because it's got the lowest durability out of any tool, including wood. So you run around, you collect them. At this point, I'm still on a power-up, so I could be potentially hitting those piglin if I had to. But then all of a sudden, I die. Say, they catch me. So I die, reset, I get pushed off. I was on that pressure plate, I immediately get pushed off. And then now I'm waiting for the game to reset. So these guys, these mine carts should be going. Should have been going. Yep, I broke something. This is why we're testing. All right, let's force them to go. Okay, so, oh, one was going. Okay, the second one didn't get activated, so I'm not sure what went wrong there. I probably broke something in the process. Nonetheless, both of those should be going, and then they will finally return. This bubble column will return all the drops to the droppers. I don't have an item filter on this yet, so I have yet to do. Right now, I'm not separating anything right now. So right now, I just have. This is how many pickups there are. I think it's the 80. Or 78, rather, 78 potential pickups, and then 4 axes. Well, what you end up with every single cycle. I don't have a way to return the axes right now. I do have a way to return the nuggets into all the rest of the droppers, though. But 78 droppers is the end of a level, so I'm gonna have to have a counter, a way to count up all of those 78 drops. All right, so that's it, and it should be reset now. Yeah, so it's ready to play again. Whoops, accidentally stepped on that. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. Let's do really quick the power-ups, though. That's the one weirdness. We have copper golems now. Can use them instead of making a whole item filter sorter system? Potentially, but I think just a filter system would be a little faster. Axes, rotten flesh, and gold nuggets and iron nuggets, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that much because really all I really have to separate out is the iron nuggets and the gold axes, because those I want to return. All the rest of the stuff I can just throw in a bulk storage. It's not that big of a deal. So really only 2 item filters do I absolutely need to return to the game board. Even the iron axes, I'm thinking I might just discard them in the basically on the spirit of fairness, because if you hit like, say you had a really good run and you hit like 6 piglin with an axe, it's only going to have like 2 hits left, so returning it to the board and you get that as a power up will be kind of unfair. So I'm thinking I might just discard those and cook them, turn them into nuggets. I was thinking of this weekend. All of this entire game and all of the work that's going into it, it's essentially just a glorified gold farm. That's it. Okay, you're still getting lag, Birdie. Let me see if I kill my regular stream and then, or my Twitch stream, and if that's gonna negatively affect anyone. Hopefully I don't just get totally kicked off. Okay, now I'm no longer sending anything to Twitch. And also let me, no, that's the max that I want to send. So I adjusted a couple things to maximize. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to change anything beyond killing Twitch, though. All right. That's about all I can do, I think, right now. It's weird because last week it got a little stuttery, but I increased my bit rate, and I was hoping that would remedy the situation, but I guess it's not. Okay, so I'm just sending this to YouTube right now. No big deal. I was so close to just like cutting Twitch out entirely and using YouTube as my primary, and after the authentication thing and everything, it's just all signs are pointing to killing it. It's probably not as bad as I'm having it. My internet is just dramatic. Oh. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see what Sam says after this. I mean, give it a few minutes, obviously, because it's going to take a second. But, okay. Yellow lines. Yellow lines are power ups. So everything's color coded. Just to really quickly go over that. Red is just power. So I'm just, using the red wool to signify that I have power going to something, some redstone component. Pink is having to do with piglins. So any sort of spawning of new piglins, moving piglins around, killing piglins, whatever that be. The blue is the start line, or the cyan rather, is the start line. The yellow is the power up, and the purple is the reset. So that's basically my color coding. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about streaming to Twitch as well. Stream good so far. Thank you. Yeah, same with me. I actually, like I said earlier, I actually had a decent Twitch turnout my last stream. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll rethink this, but I want to send 1440p to YouTube because I think it looks better, and I'm not a Twitch partner, so I can't send 1440p to Twitch. So it's like I have to, in OBS with my multi-stream plugin, it recommends that you send to Twitch first because then you have more control over all this other stuff. But it's like, okay, how it works is it actually just takes the same video encoding and sends it to both services, but now I can't do that. So now I have to encode two different things, loading my bitrate and all this other stuff. So I think I might just cut Twitch until I can have a better computer, or until I don't know, something changes, essentially, until something changes. They've been beta testing, I should say. Twitch has 1440p for like over a year. So it's like, okay, get around to it, please. Okay, anyway. Power-ups, yellow power-ups. So the yellow power-up line is essentially right now connected to a pressure plate. So it's exactly the same as the other pickups, except for it's a gold pressure plate. And that's just to signify the color, you know, just the importance of the pickup, I should say. All the rest are just dark oak. So when someone lifts something off of that pressure plate, this line will kick, moving the spawn time of 1 minute. So this arrow is on another pressure plate, which then sends a signal to these sticky pistons, pushing it past these 3 beacons, giving you the power-ups. And again, it only lasts for 1 minute. And then after that minute, when the arrow despawns, the pressure plate will lift back up and then shut off all the cool power. So that's how that works. It's fairly simple. The only issue that I'm having, which is what I wanted to, the first thing I want to start, so I've been talking for like 26 minutes with the axe from the pressure plate, like all the rest of the drops, is I want to put it in a chest or probably a barrel or a shulker box or something like that. The reason being is while I was playtesting the game with the piglins in place, they kept on stealing my axes. Because an axe actually has a higher attack number than a sword. So when a piglin is spawned, even with an enchanted sword that doesn't have that high of an attack, they'll actually discard their sword for the axe. Which sounds fine because it's like, oh, you get a sword for the thing, but it's like, no, now there's no guarantee if I kill the guy, he'll drop the sword or the axe, and then I just start running out of axes. So I'm on the fence still. Like, is it a big deal against the game? The one downside, though, the one big downside is if a piglin picks up your axe, there's no way to distinguish that action with when a player picks up the axe. So your power-up is going to engage regardless of who picked it up, which is weird. So you're basically running around. It's a wasted power-up, essentially, because without the axe, without a weapon, you're not really going to attack these piglins. You're not going to stand up to them, because even with strength 2 and regen and resistance, you're not going to take down these piglins with, like, it's going to take like 5 hits or 6 hits or something with your fists, you know, maybe even more. So they're going to swarm you and you're just going to die. With the axe, it's like 2. With a Smite 5 axe, it's 1. However, I'm going away from the Smite 5 axe because of 1, the challenge, and 2, it's going to take a lot to enchant dozens, hundreds of axes with Smite 5. Do they have to be on the top of the axe in order to pick it up? Or do they have a pickup radius similar to the player? They have a pickup radius. So I'm thinking I have to put this into, instead of the pressure plate, I have to put it into a barrel. However, the barrel, there's an upside and a downside of the barrel. It depends on your view of the game, and it's a hard decision to make without like fully play testing the game, because the barrel is going to slow you down. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? If you want the game to be easier, it's a good thing. If you want the game to be harder or easier, it's a good thing. Yeah, harder, it's a bad thing. Make the game harder, because again, you're going to have to pause, open the barrel, grab it out of the barrel's inventory, and then run while you're blinded to these 4 piglins that might catch up to you. But as I was playtesting the game and how dumb these piglins can be, even when they're angered at you, and how much they can just get lost, I was thinking the barrel is probably the better way to go. Because 1, obviously they can't pick it up, so they can't steal your axe and enable a power up without player intervention, and 2, it makes the game just a little bit more challenging. So you'll have basically 4 spots that you potentially have to pause, which would be the 4 barrels and the place to drop your iron nuggets right here. And again, the iron nuggets are the worst because you're literally running down this alley totally cornered. So you have to make sure that you have evaded the piglin and far enough distance away where you can get in there, toss, and you could just toss them. You know, I'll make it just so you don't have to open up anything with an inventory like a chest or anything. Toss them accurately enough to get into this square. I might even make it 2 squares, so that's not that big of a deal. And then run out without the piglin catching you. And it can be a challenge, especially when you have these grates, so it blocks a little bit. But as I was playtesting, I think both of those slowdowns, picking up the gold axe for the power-ups and dropping the items, are worth it because, again, the piglins, they're not that hard to evade, especially when you get a pickup, because when you get a pickup, you actually have a speed boost, you know, so you can really get to the other side of the board without them even noticing. So I think strategically, players will start developing a strategy that is essentially, you know, tuck yourself in the corner, let the piglin come to you, and then, you know, like this big straightaway, get over here and then go over and pick up an axe, or, you know, run to your drop point or whatever. Nonetheless, it's going to take some play testing, so I still need to get the mechanics ironed out before I can even start that. Okay, I just realized while I was gabbing why this didn't reset fully, and it's because I shut off this line because I was working on this. So again, pressure plate is the reset. So that's when you die on a reset. Everyone is going to die. There is no possible way you will survive this game forever, you know, in perpetuity, because at a certain point they're going to catch you because, again, you're not going in there with any food. So you're going to get hungry. You're not going to be able to sprint, and then they're going to catch you. Like, that's just the way it is. The only thing that at you, however, I don't think that's going to happen for 2 reasons. One, I don't think you're ever 32 blocks away from them, at least not for an extended period of time, and you have to be 32 blocks away, I think, for like a minute or 2 before they'll forgive you, the forgiveness counter. And 2, if it's, I don't think eyesight is, or line of sight is included in that cooldown. But if it is, which I'm still like testing this, and even the wiki is a little like loose on whether line of sight totally counts, because it's like you have to be 32 blocks away or break line of sight. But then all my testing is if you're 1 block away from them, even if there's a wall in between you, they'll stay angry forever. Like, they'll just never. I know this because when I was building Scoot Board, I had to move 6 piglins in there, and I accidentally hit one, and they were mad no matter what I did until I got 32 blocks away, because initially I just dug myself into a hole, and I'm like, okay, I'll just wait it out. But I was too close, and they just would not calm down. So, long story short, I think it'll be fine. However, my second point was, if line of sight is part of the equation, then I will just simply get rid of these guys and just replace them with slabs. So you'll be tall enough to, everybody will be able to see each other. There will be no question, you know, you'll be standing here and you'll be able to see all the piglin across the board, and they'll be able to see you. So there's no way that they'll calm down. Okay, so reset. Right now, this is designed and I accidentally hit it. I always do that. I need to turn on phantom mode. And it'll be in whatever this is called, Axiom. Anyway, so right now this is in reset mode. So I kicked on this this button. It kicks me off this plate, and the game should be resetting. Hopefully 2 minecarts are going this time, or is that still stuck? Okay. I don't know why the only one went that one time. How I had this designed originally is this is the piston. See how it just went off there? This is the piston that was actually holding up. That was in front of the piglin's face. That's preventing you from starting the game. And this light, which is I'm using as a T flip-flop, this light will, when it's on, that means the logic of the game won't work if I'm not distinguishing between running and reset. So I have to have 2 distinct states. Because what happens is this ends up being blocked. Like right now, the game is ready to play, but this is blocked, and these two things will run out of sync, meaning right now it's in sync. I hit that guy, I fall down in the hole, that will retract. However, in the next cycle, when this resets, it will end up blocking you when you're supposed to be resetting. So you won't be able to stand on the pressure plate, and you'll spawn over here on this block instead of that block, because obviously you can't spawn on this block because it's being blocked. So that was a lot of blocks. So what I need to do is on the start of a game, as soon as you hit this guy, it needs to retract this, and it doesn't need to reset it until you actually step on it. The only thing that resets this block is stepping on that pressure plate, meaning the only thing that extends this piston so this block is out is standing on a pressure plate. That's what I need to design. So that's why I broke this line, which is probably throwing things off right now. So instead of this line coming off this copper bulb, which is again, copper bulb on means you're playing, instead of it coming off the copper bulb, it needs to come off directly off this line, which is going to be a little bit of a thing because I have to route it around. All right, Sam, do they have to be on top of the X? Oh, no, you already, okay. I thought I saw a new message. Never mind, shut up, Randy. Okay, so I need to bring it off of this line, and how am I going to do that? I could just do this. Things. So I like it to be a little bit more compact. I gotta think through the logic though. And I realize you guys are probably really, really lost because again, I've been focused on this game for like quite a few hours now. So a lot of the logic and how different, but I realize I'm making a lot of fundamental mistakes when it comes to like systems that don't have any interoperability, meaning they're all very dependent on one another and there's like a cascading series of events. However, in Minecraft, it's very difficult to have interoperability. So far, 15, you kind of have to like have one circuit depend on another circuit, depend on another circuit, and your dependency tree ends up being really, really gross. But that's necessary. Okay, this isn't gonna work, I just realized. No, it will work, it will work. Okay, let me just get rid of this line. And that doesn't need to happen. Actually, that is still part of the reset key, so let's just put that back. Okay, let's give that a try. So the start line will immediately retract this. Still getting bits of lag. Hey, DSTS. New message. Same, it's always, okay, all right. I don't think I can do anything about it right now. I think I'm gonna have to wait for the next stream because I don't think I'm gonna be able to change this on the fly to a different encoder. That's really strange though because I just removed, okay, this might take out everybody, but I'm just gonna try it. Just gonna see what happens. All right, here we go. That didn't just take everyone out. So I went from, I was doing a HEVC or whatever, that H.265 to an H.264 encoder. Okay, let's see if that helps at all. The trouble with killing Twitch is now I can't see, OBS isn't reporting like anything to, what is this thing telling me? OBS isn't giving me any stream information. Like, your stream is not doing well. Okay, great. I was just reading a warning that it was giving me on YouTube and then it went, the warning went bad. Uh-oh. Oh, geez. Try another set. Rip. stream is still going? Okay. All right. I'm still getting an error. All right. I just changed it to okay. So, and I also just changed it to a 1080p. So hopefully that'll work. But now I'm getting no data as my stream status, so that's not good. So far, so good, really? Wow, it's still... YouTube is giving me all kinds of crazy warnings, and and you guys are so far, so good. That's amazing. Jeez, oh jeez, oh jeez. Yeah, I tried to open a new tab, Sam. Here, I will refresh it though. I'm getting a keyframe frequency 4 seconds or less, which is odd because I'm sending keyframes every 2 seconds, but I don't know if changing these settings on the fly is like is making YouTube upset or even affecting things, I should say. All right, well, hopefully, I just adjusted a bunch of stuff, so we'll see. We'll see if it continues going. So we'll get back to this, and hopefully it's not a total disaster of a stream. So far, it's turning into one, but hopefully it continues to stream. Well, as long as the stream is still going, as long as you're still seeing things. It's so odd because it's like last week I got a couple errors, but last week it was same settings and it was working pretty good. And let me just make sure. So I'm rescaling my output down to just 1080p. Constant bitrate for 1080p, only 30 frames per second. And I'm only sending to YouTube right now, which that may be screwing stuff up, but okay, well, I'm consistently getting this stupid error in YouTube saying that my keyframe frequency is 6.4 seconds, which is more than that, I should say. But for some reason, it's just ignoring it. All right, okay. Hopefully you can see it. Keeps on being really, really bad. I'll just stop and restart and see if that helps things. Okay. Let's see. What were we doing? Oh yeah, test that reset. So I'm gonna put some piglins in here, and I am going to test the game for realsies. That is another thing that I don't have totally adjusted for the game. If I do get a baby piglin, it works, but the system, my little system here, which is essentially I have a minecart that circles around, it hits an activator rail to kick the piglins into this water stream and then drop them into the board one at a time. The speed of the system isn't super great, but I couldn't think of a way to separate piglins one at a time very easily. You know, because I can't just bunch a bunch of them together and then kick them out one at a time, because what will end up happening is like 4 will come out at once, or 3 will come out at once, or something along those lines. Sorry, YouTube's giving me another warning. So, okay, so it's saying that my bit rate is like super, super high, which it's not. So it's obviously not taking the settings that I've been adjusting. So, and then let's see, let's go back here. I want to see if I can, yeah, I'm not going to auto stop the stream. Adjusted that. And then I'm going to kill the stream and then come back so I can adjust these things. And I think